Good morning. Can't believe we're up to week 6 already. I'm sorry it's a bit dark in here. I've pulled the blind partly down because the sun was in my face. So, how is everybody doing? I know a few of you responded well to last week. Is what I'm sharing helpful to you? Have you got questions? I'm willing to do a Q&A for all of you if that's something you desire. And, if you would like a Q&A, drop that in the comments below and then, I will arrange it for sure for next week and we can go through all of your questions. Today I wanted to talk about self-image. Now, we can't outperform our self-image. Who we believe we are and who we believe we aren't is what creates our world. Our whole world is a creation of our inner beliefs. Whether we believe we can, whether we believe we can't, whether we believe we are just this human and we're the victim of whatever circumstance is going on in the world, or whether we believe we're a creator. Then it's about, do we trust ourselves? Do we believe that we have what it takes? Do we believe we understand how? Do we believe we're in the right vibration? There's so many things come into it and it really can get quite complicated. However, if we come back to the one thing, do we love ourselves? Because if we truly love ourselves, that love that we have for ourselves brings balance to every area of our life. Where we feel we are lacking will turn up as lacking in our outside world. So, if we've got beliefs about money, yes, we're going to have issues with money in our life. If we believe we're unlovable, then we are going to have that shown to us in the outside world. If we believe we don't know enough, then we'll run into circumstances that will prove to us we don't know enough. And it's all because our beliefs are that powerful. We literally create our world with our beliefs. And to me, that is extremely freeing. When you understand the absolute power that you've got, you would never, ever, ever doubt yourself. You would never, ever think a negative thought. Our whole world is created out of the stories we tell ourselves. We make up stories in our mind all the time, even without knowing we're doing it. Oh gosh, I just got a huge electricity bill. I don't know how I'm going to pay it. Oh my God, I hope they don't cut my power off. Oh my gosh, if I had no power. We go down that road. We could simply think, oh my gosh, I've just received a bill. That means more money's coming in because I always pay my bills on time. I'm always able to meet my bills. I've always got enough money. I've always got more than enough money. And it really does come down to that. So today, what do you believe about yourself? And really, I would suggest that you actually write down a list of all the things you believe you are and all the things you believe you're not. And anything that's negative in there, write down the opposite of it. Remember, we live in a world of polarity. So wherever there's a negative, there's also a positive. And it all exists inside of us. We were made in the perfection, in the image of God. Everything exists in the whole. You know, quantum science knows this too. In the smallest particle exists the potential for everything. And, you know, as our mind is part of the one mind, we're connected to all information, to all source, to all energy. You know, and energy isn't separate from other energies either. You know, it's a graduated effect, goes from low to high, but there's no definite fences or lines of demarcation between each frequency. So, you know, just like we can connect to any frequency through changing our own thoughts, thinking something empowering or happy, or finding something to play with, you know, we can raise our frequency. We can also shift what we're creating. You know, big business, even small business, spends lots of money on their logos, on their corporate image. And the reason they do that is because it matters how we present ourselves. And we are the same. When we spend time, mostly time, money is involved, of course, but when we spend time going inwards and really discovering who we are and building our strengths and noticing where we have gaps and filling those gaps, then what we present to the outside world is much different. You know, I look back at, you know, I probably started doing live videos on social media when I first started in my online business. And when I look back at some of those in my memories, you know, they give me a laugh, but they also help me to realise how far I have come as a person. You know, when I look back at what I did then, you know, yes, my appearance has changed as well, but that's been as a result of my internal change. You know, we project everything from the inside out, and our body is actually part of that projection of our beliefs and that internal energy, that source God that we allow to flow through us in varying amounts. So the more we open to ourselves, to our wholeness, accepting who we are, the more life, God, source, flows through us, and the more life in every aspect of our life we're offered. But we have to grow in ourself inwardly to see the change outwardly. You know, and my online business has been such a blessing in that way. You know, I've really had to do the work and come out of hiding because, you know, I was living to avoid. And it meant if I had fears in the world, in the outside, something I was afraid of, mostly for me it was other people judging me, of not being accepted. But that was pointing to something on the inside. Remembering that our world is a mirror for the inside, for our beliefs. You know, we are the cause, the world is the effect. And when I say we, I mean me, the consciousness, Me, the body, is part of the effect. But the effect changes as the cause changes. So, I used to believe I was shy, lacking in confidence. I know that confidence comes with knowledge. Now, knowledge isn't just reading a lot of books and knowing a lot of stuff. Knowledge is experience. Knowledge is putting into experience what I understand. And as I put it into experience, I embody it. Now, experience starts with feeling. Actually, it starts with seeing. So through imagination, we can connect with the unknown parts of ourselves. What if? What if I was confident? What if I was braver? What if I was flamboyant? What if I was? What would that look like? What is that part of me? Where is that? And how can I express that? And by questioning playfully all of this on the inside, we can become familiar with that part of the self. And as we become familiar with it, it becomes part of our vibration. And then we are encouraged to take action. And that action comes through inspiration to actually do something in the outside world and express that part of the self. When we connect with other people, I think, are probably our best mirrors. When we connect with another person, we can only ever connect with that person to the degree or equally to what we are. So, every person has lots of different aspects, lots of different sides, if you want to put it that way. I can only meet with the sides of a person who are the same as me, the same frequency. Excuse me, I've got a sneeze coming on. So, when I meet with somebody and I have an experience of that person is reflecting to me what's in me. So it's easy to look at a person and say, gosh, I love how confident that person was. That means that confidence is in me as well. Now, it's important here not to get caught up necessarily in what they say, but more their attitude, because what they say is usually about their own thinking, not about who we are. So, we need to make that distinction. Not everything that comes our way through the mouths of other people are about us. Remember, they've got a cause and we are their reflection as well. So, who we are on the inside becomes our world. If we believe we are an infinite creator and we want to step into the full ownership of that creator, we need to accept all aspects of ourselves. And I know many years ago, I started playing in spirituality about the time when The Secret was released here in Australia. 2006, 2007. I bought the book and, I read that book over and over and I knew it wasn't complete. But it got me excited and I started searching. And it took me down a rabbit hole. Things started really changing for me inwardly. And I couldn't get enough, and things changed in my outer circumstances. I ended up, moving home. I was living by myself. And, I would go to work through the day and then I would come home and I would turn on the computer and I'd cook myself dinner. I'd eat it in front of the computer. I'd listen to it. I'd, you know, do the meditations, I'd do the work, I started channeling, you know, and I was just immersed in this inner world to the point where my outer world was really just work. You know, I'd go to work, and then if I wasn't at work, I was in my lounge room, you know, on the computer, quite often in the dark because I'd be meditating. And this went on for years. And at one point, I got a wake-up call. You know, I was very aligned with my spirit self when I was out of the physical. But I wasn't aligned with my spiritual self when I was living my physical life. And I was actually told by my guides then that I was a bridge between the world that the humans know now, the very much victim world, where humans are scrambling for all sorts of resources and fighting over it. A bit like the seagulls on the beach, you know. Something gets washed up and there's 100 seagulls right there waiting for it. But our world doesn't have to be like that. You know, we are the only part of nature on this planet that we know of, physical, that has the ability to create their own world. And I was here to actually bridge these two worlds, bring people into their knowing while they were in the physical so that they could live a full physical life. And, you know, my journey has been like everybody else's, a little bit up and down over the years that I've been doing this. But it was 2016 when, you know, I was given the wake-up call to actually start living my physical life. And it came with the store that I'd been managing for 5 or 6 years being closed. You know, the owner had had enough of the politics. We were inside of a shopping centre and she said, no, I'm going to close. And it felt like freedom to me. There was a lot of fear because I was relying on that income. I didn't have a big balance in my bank account, but I knew somehow I'd be supported. And what unfolded was me giving everything away from almost 30 years of married life prior to me being on my own, and driving away in my car to find myself. I had to get physical. I had to experience the physical world. And very much up until then, I'd been living in avoidance. You know, even before life had taken this turn, when I discovered the secret, I'd been living in avoidance. I was afraid of the world. And when I look back, I can see the self-image that I had, and it was very small and very negative. And yeah, I've been working through all of that for, gosh, more than about 15 years now. And yeah, I am the result of the inner work that I've been doing. But of course, in the last 12 months, you know, I was introduced to Bob Proctor and his flagship course, which, you know, I am now a facilitator and consultant for. I'm very honoured to be that. You know, when Bob passed away early this year, I felt honoured that I'd actually got to know him before that had happened, but also honoured that I have his teachings that is only available through consultants, which is a 6-month course that I'm able to facilitate and hold people accountable through. And the results I'm seeing both with my clients and with so many people who have taken this course and so many consultants who are facilitating this course is absolutely amazing. I absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that I create my world. So I'm very aware and I'm very, very deliberate with my thinking and very deliberate with how I feel. My awareness, when I notice a dip in my frequency, I'm straight on, what was I thinking? Where do I need to build my self-image to become more of me? Because remembering every weakness in our outside world, any perceived lack, and I say perceived lack because there is no real lack. Lack is a product of our mind, is because of a lack in my own self, in my consciousness. So, self-image is really important. It's really something that needs to be looked at. Wherever there seems to be something going on in the outside world, take responsibility for it and say, I did that. I created that. And not be judgmental and not condemn yourself and not feel sorry for yourself, but empower yourself and then say, well, what can I do differently? How can I step up and create anew? Because that's what it comes down to. In the outside world, there are lots of things that many of us don't like. The last few years have shown us a plethora of circumstances that have tested each one of us to the limits. But what we give energy to, we feed. What we withdraw energy from disintegrates. You can look at a home that nobody's living in, and within just a few years it will start to fall apart. Why is that? There's a house just as old, maybe older, right next door, and nobody's really doing much physical maintenance on it, but people are living in it and it's still in good condition. That is because there's no love being put into that home. There aren't people associated with that home who are expressing love. So where in your life do you need to express more? Where do you need to apply the band-aids of love? What do you need to accept and to own? We can look at things in other people that we don't necessarily like. But if we can say, wow, like I'm meeting with this part of this person because there's, as Esther Hicks, as Abraham says, there's a festery button inside of me waiting to be pushed. So how can I heal that button? Where is that button? What is it? Where can I apply love? Where can I focus on all the qualities that I want to express instead of focusing on all the qualities I don't want to express? I believed personality was just what I was born with. I was shy right from the word go. I remember, being less than 2 years old and, someone would knock at the door of our home and I'd be under my mother's skirt, like in the skirt, holding on to her leg, saying, I love you, mummy, I love you, mummy. Like I was that shy. And I thought, this is just who I am. But our personality is part of our programming and we get to change that. We get to change all of it. In the being and likeness of God, we are everything. We get to choose what parts of us we wish to express in the world. And every single thing in the physical is connected to something inside of us. Our relationships, our finances, our health, everything comes from within us. In actual truth, we are all that is. Our whole world is happening inside of our consciousness. And that's why we are living the story that we keep telling ourselves. When we tell a different story, we live a different life. And that brings us right back to week 1. Our goal is important because it gives us something to focus towards. And as we believe in that goal, as we feel it, as we experience it before it comes, we are inspired to take certain actions that actually stretch us out of our comfort zone to become more of ourselves. A goal is for us to become more of ourselves. That's the real prize. Yes, we get, but the prize is who we become. So have an absolutely beautiful day. I feel like I'm doing these for myself a lot of the time. Yeah, that's something inside of me. Something inside of me. So I hope you're all enjoying this. I hope I'm offering some value. And yeah, I would love some interaction and comments below. And if you would like a Q&A next week, then please comment below and I'll try and arrange a time where we can all be on live, or at least those of you that wish to interact. Have an absolutely beautiful day.